FGO really knows how to capture my attention. They are in fact the masters in baiting me into separating my money from my wallet because they really know how to come up with stuff that I want to buy. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven with your weekly figure news fix, this time around 22nd to 27th of September 2025. For this week, we have quite a lot more figures to go through compared to the previous 2 weeks. And well, Fate Grand Order is back. Well, only 2 figures, but really good ones. But they are very expensive. Musume also has a very strong showing this week. Meanwhile, for the third-party resin figures side, things are not as interesting, but there are like 2 or 3 nice figures to check out. Now we shall move on to Hobby Link Japan to check out the genuine figures on pre-order this week. While I usually start off with the largest scale, I also want to get over with this figure first. So we are looking at Kishin Hitarino statue by Pierrot and Figurama Collectors, resin figure brand that is based in Japan, 90,000 yen, December release. This is non-scale, but at this price, I would guess that this thing is close to a 1x6 scale resin statue instead of 1x4. I have no idea what this thing is. It looks like some kind of religious statue to me, to be honest, because of the character design. It looks like something people put at home and pray on their altar, something like that. So I have no idea what this thing is, just that the character design looks religious to me for some reason. Anyways, not my kind of thing, and if you know something about this, yeah, let me know down in the comments below. Releasing in December 2026, but you know what? This brand is known for heavy delays, so you are not getting this thing until somewhere in mid-2027 maybe, yeah. So do bear that in mind. Moving on to the next figure over here, well, this is where we begin our 1x4 skill section, and we are already looking at one of the main highlights this week. Coming from Fate's Grand Order, we have Free-Ink's 1x4 skill Minamoto no Raiko Bunny Girl style for 40,000 yen, April release 2026. And if I were to be honest with you, this is a lot cheaper than I was expecting. I was predicting 45,000 yen minimum or higher, up to 50k, because of FGO tax, right? Whenever a figure brand makes a figure from Fate's Grand Order or Type Moon, their prices tend to be a bit higher than usual compared to other figures of similar levels of detail. Kotobukiya is no exception. Kotobukiya makes a lot of figures in the low 20,000 yens price range, but when they do make FGO stuff, 25k and up, right? So we call this the FGO tax. It has been a thing for the past decade or so. At the same time, if I were to factor in the FGO tax, yeah, this would be more expensive than 40,000 yen. Free-Ink's bunny girl figures, the simplest ones, wearing plain bunny suit and low detail in general, they start from 36,000 yen before any taxes or shipping. This Raiko over here, she may be a bunny girl figure, but you're adding a pair of swords, and then there are these 2 pieces of cloth behind her. The long cloths over there, I'm not sure what to call it. So this is not your typical bunny girl figure. There is a bit more details, a bit more parts, which would mean you add another 4 or 5,000 yen, 40,000 yen. And then where is the FGO tax? None to be found over here, surprisingly. I'm not complaining, I'm just pleasantly surprised by the pricing over here, which isn't too bad. However, I wouldn't rush out to pre-order it, even though I want this thing very badly, because of the uncertainty involving anime figures in general nowadays, and a lot of Free-Ink stuff bargain bin after release. Though I don't think that has happened to FGO stuff in general. Yeah, FGO 1x4 scale figures by Free-Ink, including Lancer Altria, right? That one remains high in price if I'm not mistaken. So at the same time, if you do not want to take any risk, then pre-order it early. I'm not sure how to predict this one. Do I want it? Absolutely yes. You see, I haven't purchased anything from Fate's Grand Order in more than a year because there are too many things to buy and too little money. But FGO really knows how to capture my attention. They are in fact the masters in baiting me into separating my money from my wallet because they really know how to come up with stuff that I want to buy. There is just such a long wish list of things to buy. There are figures that released 2 years ago that until today I haven't purchased. They are all from FGO. And naturally, this Raiko over here is going to be added to that long list of wish list. I want this Raiko so badly. So moving on to the next 1x4 skill over here. From Seitokai ni mo Anawa Aru, there is also a hole in the student organization. We have Komago Michinoku at 1x4 skill by Ami Ami for only 25,000 yen, releasing in October next year. I wonder when the anime adaptation will air, right? So regarding this figure over here, why is it so cheap at 1x4 skill? Obviously, part of the issue over here, I'm not sure if I can call it an issue. Part of the issue over here is that she is wearing almost no clothes, which means less parts, less complexity, easier to manufacture and paint, so that results in a lower cost, right? The second thing is that, in case you guys are unaware of, this figure is made by a Chinese brand. That's right. I did mention this once back in July during my Wonder Festival summer coverage. Ami Ami occasionally, every few months, they will come up with their own figure, but they are not the ones manufacturing it. This figure was revealed to be fully painted back in that one fest, and I said that Ami Ami outsourced their figures to some other factories out there, to some other companies, just that we did not know who was it. Every individual Ami Ami figure was made by a different factory, a different company even. The same thing applies to some companies like Kadokawa. It is not like Kadokawa is the one making anime figures in their own studio. That is why some Kadokawa figures, their quality control is very random. Some turn out great, others look like lower quality stuff because different companies are making them. So back to this Komaru Michinoku over here. The question is, who is the manufacturer behind this figure? The answer is Apex Toys. Technically, this is their very first 1x4 scale figure. And how did I find out? Well, Ami Ami said it themselves. If you head over to amiami.com and look for this figure's entry, and then you will scroll down to the bottom of the page, the product details, it is mentioned there, the sculptor is Apex Toys. So there we go. Interesting. I thought Japanese companies, they prefer to cooperate with Japanese companies. I did not expect Ami Ami to turn to Apex Toys to manufacture figures for them. But this is surprising to me, and perhaps one day Apex Toys will also give us more 1x4 scale figures, but I hope not because they are making way too many stuff. So should you get this figure? Earlier, that Raiko figure, I would say big yes if you don't mind pre-ordering early. But for this figure, I would be a bit more apprehensive because in the end, this is a character from a manga and soon seasonal anime. She may not hold on her value that well after release, so she could beat. Yes, for a character like this, I suggest waiting it out. Moving on to the next one here, now we go back to Freeing with their re-release of Power from Chainsaw Man at 36,000 yen. January release, that is very soon. Okay, with this figure, I'm not surprised at all for two reasons. Number one, the new Chainsaw Man movie, which I will not watch in the cinemas over here in my country because our government decided to censor it. All over a swimming pool scene, they would cut out that entire section, so no, I'm not watching it. I will rather prefer to pirate it at this point if they dare to do that to me. The next thing is about this character over here, Power. I mean, she was extremely popular back then, even though I was a huge critic of Freeing's price point, right? Simple bunny figure, low detail, 36k was very expensive back then. But at the same time, people queued up for her. She sold very well. The only bad news was that there were really bad quality control issues on this Power figure during the first release. Was it 2 years ago? Yeah. The first release was really bad, especially on the hair region, a lot of bad paint work, right? So the good news over here is that if you haven't purchased this figure yet because you are unwilling to pay aftermarket prices for her, then you can get this second re-release and start praying every day and hope that this figure turned out perfect instead of having the same quality control issue as the first release a couple of years ago. So this is where the good news is. I would rather you avoid the first release batch and pre-order this thing and wait until January. January is very soon, and there will be higher chances of getting a perfect copy because I don't think Free will want to repeat the same mistakes again. Yeah. Moving on to the next figure over here. Now we enter 1/6 scale territory. We have a Super Sonico Nurse Bikini version by Union Creative. 23,000 yen. April release 2026. Man, those melons, man, they attract more attention than her face or any other body parts. Sonico is all about two big papayas hanging in front of your face, and then you feel like you just want to bury your face in them. That is Super Sonico. She was incredibly popular roughly 10 years ago, back in the mid-2010s. Almost every 2 weeks, there will be a new Super Sonico figure. That was 10 years ago. And also back then, a lot of her figures were castable, at least for the top region. In fact, I think only the top, not the bottom, because this is H, not H, right? The bad news over here, based on the official product pictures, there are no signs of her being able to be casted off. No topless Sonico for you. I own 3 Sonico figures from Arknights Skadi, and all 3 can be displayed topless, not this one. Is it a big deal? In my opinion, not really, but it is still a shame because in the past, it was a very common feature for Sonico figures. Should you still get it? If you like the character, you like Super Sonico, by all means go ahead. This is not a bad purchase at 23,000 yen. And Union Creative has never been a company known for castable figures anyway. Yeah. Moving on to the next 1/6 scale, we have Dongtan Bunny version by Animaster, low budget 1/6 scale figure at 6,700 yen, March release 2026. So the very same character where the South Korean feminists were angry at because she was too hot for her own good. I made a video on that a few months ago where they were protesting against a different figure of this character. For reasons you can kind of guess by now if you haven't watched that video. They wanted that figure to be cancelled. Yeah, sure, some figure stores in Korea might cancel the pre-orders, at least publicly, but you can always pre-order it behind the scenes via private messages. So I don't think their efforts meant anything. Back to this figure over here, we are talking about Animaster, which makes great low-budget figures. Not to mention that faceplate of her without the face mask. Oh, it is like half a Hegao. I love it. And will I get this figure? I won't pre-order her early, but there is a likelihood where I might get her at some point after release. Yeah, I like this one a lot. Moving on to the next figure over here. Another low-budget 1/6 scale figure by a brand called Kawa Design. They already released a few figures out there. You can look for user pictures on MFC and so on. This is a brand that is very promising, and one day, eventually, I will buy their stuff. We are looking at 1/6 scale bundler 001. She does not even have a name. And that is the name of the artist. 6,800 yen, July release next year. Still a long way to go. And as you can see in this picture, yup, that's right. 4 faceplates and 1 extra arm. That is 1 faceplate more than even Nendoroid's or fake mask, which is incredible. Yeah. This is not something you'll see in scale figures very often. And I would love to support this company by encouraging you guys to pre-order it. As long as you like your cat girls, you like this character design, pre-order it. Because Japanese companies are a lot more stingier than this, right? Sure, they will give you 1 extra faceplate. Not 4, they give you 1 extra faceplate, but then they will make it an online store exclusive. And when you do head over to their online store to pre-order the figure, I'm sorry, we do not ship to your country or region. Yes, I'm talking about you Kotobukiya and especially Aniplex. That new Morgan figure from FGO in this week, we'll talk about her later on, same problem. So, support this company. If you like what you're looking at, smash that pre-order button. I think this is an amazing figure. Moving on to the next one right here from Daiki Kogyo. Alright, we are now entering the 1x7 scale territory. This is 1x7 Shuju Ecstasy Shion Oiran version. And this version over here specifically is the wholesome version. 25,000 yen, February release next year, quite soon as well. Daiki Kogyo as a company, very average. Sometimes their figures have paint transfer problems because of the cast-off features. The paint from the inner surface of the clothes getting stuck permanently on the Hadaka body underneath. That is a very common problem with cast-offable figures using the old school method of casting off, where the clothes are made from very flexible material, almost rubber-like, very elastic, and then you literally peel off the clothes just like that. Yeah, so many anime figure brands that make edgy figures today, they have abandoned this kind of material and this kind of cast-off mechanism, but Daiki Kogyo is still doing it to keep the cost down presumably. However, this version you're looking at on screen, the wholesome version, this is not cast-offable. Let me make that clear. If you want the cast-offable version of this figure, pre-order it at Ami because HLJ does not offer 18 plus anime figures anymore. Yeah, I made a separate video almost 2 weeks ago talking about this. Must be the Visa MasterCard censorship. So if you want to cast off this figure, you get it at Ami, roughly 27 to 28,000 yen if I remembered correctly. Ami has both versions, the cast off version and the wholesome version over here, which is not cast offable. And speaking of the quality of this company, Daiki Kogyo, I would rank them on B to B minus even. Yeah. Their figures are not bad but not good at the same time. If you compare them to other edgy figure brands, they are not even close to Native and their branches, Rocket Boy, Frog, Hot Venus and so on, not even close at all. So they are a tier or two below. But I wouldn't compare them to the very worst in the figure industry, like Forge Japan or Kaitendo. No, they are not that bad at the same time. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one here, we have 1x7 scale White Rabbit Rosso private clothes version by Deceater. This version is 21,400 yen and there is a swimsuit version over here for just under 20k. January release 2026, very soon as well. Alright, speaking of this figure, these two versions over here, I find it really odd because why not give us a standard and a DX version? The DX version, you get an extra body part for you to swap out, right? For you to cast off. I think it is doable, but the reason why Deceater is not doing this, and this is purely my own guess, it could be cost related. So if there is way too many parts to be replaced during the cast off process, then the cost is so high, so close to buying two entire separate figures together, then there is no reason to offer a DX version offering the cast off mechanism in the first place. You would rather encourage people to buy two entire figures because, you know, the cost is very close. So that might be the reason, and I'm just guessing, of course. Not to mention, this is not an edgy figure, just two different outfits, you know. Yeah. Should you get it? Well, it all depends on whether you like the character design. It is an original character of some kind. And this is not even the first figure of this White Rabbit Rosso. This is like the fourth one. Solar Rain has a swimsuit version of her, which does not look very nice, but costing roughly 18,000 yen or so from 2 weeks ago. And then there is another low-budget Chinese brand who also made a figure of her at around 8,000 yen. Yeah, you can search for it in Hobbylink Japan or any other website you prefer. So I'm not too interested in this one, but the character design is nice. She's cute. Moving on to the next one here. Alright. So we are looking at Alta's 1x7 scale Mika Jogasaki Halloween Love Nurse version from the Idolmaster Cinderella Girls. Man, 30,000 yen is expensive. Very expensive. Releasing in September 2026. So Mika Jogasaki is one of the more popular characters in IMAS. In fact, I used to own a figure of her, the one by Fat's company. Yeah, in her idol outfit, twin tails and lying on the base with a love-shaped sculpt on it. Yeah, that figure was very popular, very famous back then. The value even went up at some point. I used to own that figure like 10 years ago. I sold it, of course. When you have been collecting figure for more than a decade, eventually you run out of space. or you fall out of love with certain things and then you just need to get rid of them to raise some money or to make space. So Mika Jogasaki, I still like her even today, just that I no longer collect idol stuff. For Aimas collectors, I would say it is a no-brainer, even though it is very expensive. Alter stuff are easy to recommend after all. Moving on to the next one, we have Azur Lane St by Neon Max, 24,000 yen, June release next year. Neon Max is famous for their Blue Archive figure, yep. But this St. Louis over here, she looks great, but St. Louis, whenever you mention her name, the first thing I think of is Oppai. Yes, sure, not as big as Kashino, but still a main feature of her, right? And you often see her wearing these really loose single-piece dresses. You get to see her Oppai almost from the side or from the cleavage in front. So this kind of outfit over here feels a little bit out of character, I would say. But at the same time, this could be a proper skin in the game. I don't play the game, so I don't know. This could be a proper skin, which is why a figure like this exists. And she still looks amazing. This is a beautiful figure that I can easily recommend to anyone. Neon Max actually makes very good figures. Yeah. Moving on to the next one, Good Smile Company. They have like 3 figures this week, I think. So the first one here is one of the main highlights this week as well. We have 1x7 Arknights Skadi, Wave Rider WR04 version, 22,500 yen, September release as well. You know, August and September 2026 is starting to turn out to be a really bad month for figure collectors. A lot of good stuff coming out within these 2 months. I've already noticed it. I'm trying to avoid Arknights, you know, there are too many stuff to buy. I'm trying to avoid falling to another deep hole, another pit, a big money pit. This is nice. This is pretty, even though it is a swimsuit figure. Wow, look at the details on her hair and outfit, man. All the heavy shading, my kind of thing. But speaking of Skadi, I prefer the Skadi from FGO. Yeah, Skadi. I love my purple hair waifus after all. This is not a usual swimsuit figure, right? But then, too early for me to decide whether to get it or not. For now, it is a no. But if she bargain bins after release, then maybe. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid Arknights. Alright, moving on to the next one. We have 3 Uma Musume figures this week. The first one is by Good Smile. Oguri Cap, 21,600 yen, December release. That is a very pretty base, but it looks very scratchable. It looks like a transparent piece of acrylic block or clear plastic and then they inject colors inside. Something like that. Those bases, they look amazing, but they are very easy to scratch. That is my concern over there. Oguri Cap, there was another figure of her that just went on pre-order recently, right? Or was it the one by Fats Company, a re-release? She has a pose where she was dashing forward. That one was very nice. Yeah. This one, the pose is a little bit dull, unfortunately. The next one here also has a dull pose. Beino Light by Fats Company, just over 16,000 yen because it is a simple figure. In fact, the price gap is so big. Many other Fats Company Uma Musume figures are like 25k. I'm just happy to see Fat Company stopping this Ami exclusive thing. So, a worthy addition to any Uma Musume fans' cabinet or display. You look at the heavy shading on the hair, right? The bright brown to the dark brown on the hair. And even her outfit as well. Lots of different shades of purple. I love seeing that on anime figures in general. The third Uma Musume figure over here is by Kotobukiya, 1x7 scale Sakura Chiyono O. 20k releasing in May 2026. Somehow, the sculpt on the figure just looks a little bit less detailed than the 2 figures before. Just a little bit. The shading is still there, the weathering, the paintwork still looks good, so I would not hesitate to recommend it. Kotobukiya is great nowadays, yup. Yeah, heavy shading once again, right? Very obvious on her hair and even on the pink color region of her outfit. Very good week for Uma Musume collectors. Up next, Kotobukiya 1x7 scale Hoshina Utao. school uniform version from Shugo Chara. That thing is like 20 years old. 20,000 yen, April release next year. It was roughly 2 or 3 weeks ago. We had a Shugo Chara figure by Koto. I think it was a very pink character, if I remembered correctly. So they are bringing back some classic anime characters. Always a good thing. I wonder if there is shading on her black dress. I can't really tell. It does not look like there is much shading, unfortunately. Because, you know, part of the problem is that classic anime characters, they are also less detailed than modern anime characters today. So they need to be accurate in replicating the same look, I suppose. There is shading in her hair, but the dress, I can't tell. It doesn't feel like there is any on the black color regions. Oh, nice space. Right, moving on to the next one here, we have Kotobukiya 1/7 scale Mai Shiranui EX Bishoujo statue. 15,000 yen, May release. So yes, this is actually a re-release of some kind, but she is different from the first release like 10 years ago. And Kotobukiya did show us the difference over here. Basically, the older version, oh, I thought it was 10 years ago, it was only 4 years ago. Oh my god. 2022, really? I thought it was way older than that. So the one from 4 years ago, she was very yellow. The one coming out next year, they made her pink for some reason. Yeah, I do see the problem over here because the older version looks a little bit way too yellow to my taste. In fact, my opinion over here is that neither is good. It feels like the newer version, there is too much pink on her skin. The older one was too yellow. I think somewhere in between would be best, right? So the skin tone is too warm or too cold. The difference is way too big over here. And I can't say I like either. If I had to choose only one, then the newer one is slightly better, of course. But I think it is still a bit way too pink to my liking. Yeah. Get the new version, even if you have the old version. The old one is too yellow. Moving on to the new, to the next one, I mean. So Kotobukiya again, man, so many figures. We have Yami Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh! 19,000 yen, April release. Nice paintwork on his outfit. See all the color gradients over here around his jeans. Very nice. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, Amakuni also has a figure of him, right? Amakuni is probably going to be a bit better, but how common it is, I'm not sure. Kotobukiya, at least it is guaranteed that their figure will turn out well and cheaper than Amakuni, so not a bad thing. The next one here, Yugi Muto, his brother, I suppose. 19,000 yen, May release. And I'm speaking as someone who knows almost nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh! This is like a dumber version of his brother. This is like alpha and this is like beta or something. I don't know. Of course, you need both. If you get one, you need the other, right? So, great for Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans, I suppose. Moving on to the next one, coming from Prime 1 Studio and Prisma Wing, we have a couple of cuckoos. Kakona Inazuke, right? Erika Amano, 28,000 yen, October release. It is a bit pricey, but this time around, I think the price is better than many of previous Prisma Wing figures out there, right? This one doesn't feel too bad. It is expensive, but I wouldn't call it overpriced yet. And I just finished marathoning the second season a day ago. Yes, on a weekday. It took me 2 days to finish. Day 1, 6 episodes. Day 2, another 6 episodes. I waited the season 2 to finish airing, and then I finished all of it in 2 days. If you were to ask for my opinion for this anime series, can I recommend it? I would say that if you hated Rental Girlfriend, then you might hate this anime. The concept is similar. You have harem stuff, you have all this unnecessary drama involving a romance and so on, but I loved this series at least. Rental Girlfriend was more of a train wreck. You just want to watch chaos unfold, but I'll talk about that later on because we have more Mizuhara Chizuru figures later on in Ami. So back to Kakona Inazuki over here. I enjoyed it at least, watching all these nonsense unfolding when you have a couple forced by their parents to get engaged together, living together under one roof. And somehow I feel old for liking to watch an anime like that, because this may be something that is relatable if you are Asian and you live with Asian parents, maybe your 50, 60-year-old mother who loves watching Cantonese or Hokkien or Taiwanese dramas involving families fighting each other. I'm not sure if you can relate, but it is a thing in Asian families in general. There will be someone in your family who loves watching a train wreck involving couples cheating on each other, involving businesses sabotaging each other, and then you have mental health issues and a character jumping off a building, losing memories and regaining it later on. That is what Taiwanese dramas are. Yes, those that are made for old people. So when I say I like an anime like A Couple of Cuckoos, I feel old because the style of the content is quite similar, just that this is 2D. Taiwanese dramas are 3D. So back to this figure over here, Prisma Wing, famous for overpricing, but they have a very unique coating on the anime figures which people like. So this may be worth looking into if you loved the anime. I did like the anime, but I'm not buying this thing. Not buying anything expensive from a seasonal anime. Moving on to the next one here from Nori Pro, which I have no idea what it is. I'm going to assume it is VTuber again. So we have A Dimension 1/7 scale Inuyama Tamaki Unicorn Outfit Jirai style version, just under 20,000 yen. November release, and that would be next year, not this year. So more than a year's wait. Yeah, cute VTuber character and not much else, not the kind of things I collect. I would like to apologize to all VTubers in advance because I just had to say this, right? I'm not a fan of content creators in general who do not reveal their faces, even though there may be a legit reason behind it, such as privacy, for example, or you don't want your workplace, your colleagues to know that you are making content online, you want to protect your privacy. It is a perfectly valid reason. But nowadays with the rise of AI, there are so many people making low quality, low effort content and spamming all over YouTube with it. Whenever I see a video that does not have a face of an actual person, I am more inclined to believe that it is AI until proven otherwise. So I know that VTubers is a different thing. Watching a 2D character talking on screen is a different thing from a faceless video that only features narration and infographics. Two different things. But when it comes to enjoying content on the internet and especially on YouTube, I still prefer watching a real person. Yeah, for this reason. This is something you buy for the character design, obviously, or you want to support the person behind this character over here. Moving on to the next one, we have a re-release of Aris Boreas Grey Rat swimsuit version by CA Works and Kadokawa, 19,000 yen, March release next year. Yeah, since season 3 is around the corner, right? In my opinion, this is not a bad purchase if you want to go for this version. For me, Aris, the best figures of Aris are the ones by Q-Skill, which is also full of fan service, right? She was also undressing in that version. This one is not too bad either. I also like this version. And CA Works has connections with Revolve, I think. Yeah, Revolve. And they may be collaborating with Kadokawa, so the figure is likely to be very nice. I mean, just check out user pictures. This is a re-release after all. Moving on to the next one, now we enter low budget figure territory. And boy, this has to be the first time ever a pop-up red figure has beaten a Chinese low budget scale figure. Animaster has just released their own Lucy from Cyberpunk Edge Runners, right? Around a month ago. Very recent, a month to 2 months ago. I think it was July, at least in China. It was July release. So the Animaster version of Lucy was okay, not perfect. It was fine, but somehow Good Smile Company gave us a version that looks even better than the one made by Animaster, 1/7 scale, 7,000 yen. Pop-up rate L size is also roughly 1/8 to 1/7 scale, even though they are non-scale on paper. This is a bit more expensive at 9,000 yen, but we are getting that bright yellow jacket, and combined with her pose over there, this is the better Lucy figure of the two compared to the one by Animaster. I don't think something like this has happened before. But at the same time, you know, photographs of pop-up rate figures published by Good Smile, they tend to be a bit misleading. The actual figure does not look as good in person. Things like that happen. Less so for L size at least. So, can I still recommend it? Still a yes regardless. She looks great. So go for it, right? Alright, moving on to the next one. We have pop-up rate L Cura picked suit version from Hunter x Hunter, 8,000 yen, may release next year. For some reason, this is almost universal. When you have a male anime character and you dress them up in a tuxedo and then you make them into an anime figure, they almost always universally look bad. They look cheap. This one is the same as well. Not like it is not like Hunter x Hunter fans have many choices at all when it comes to figures. But yeah, this does not look very nice. Moving on to the next one. Oh, this is going to sell so well. Pop-up rate Momoi from Blue Archive, and of course her twin Midori. 6,500 yen each, April release next year. Yeah, sure. If you couldn't wait until after release, pre-order it, right? Their pop-up rates, the Blue Archive stuff, their pop-up rates are quite popular after all. If you get one, you need the other one. And the last figure on HLJ for this week, we release again by Dick. We have Dick Star Like a Dragon Yakuza Ichiban Kasuga, 8,600 yen, February release. Yeah, these are very small figures. They are roughly 18 centimeters, the size of pop-up rate. So this is actually tiny for a male character, which is why the price is so low. And this dude over here, this Yakuza dude over here, sure gets a lot of figures. Now we move on to Ami for more exclusive stuff and also the matured content, right? So before I proceed, once again, if you are finding this video enjoyable or informative, please do give this video a like and subscribe to this channel for more anime figure content every week. Now, back to this figure over here. Oh, it is such an unfortunate thing that this figure ends up being an Ami exclusive, right? Not the first time. Kuro Games, they released a figure 1/4 scale last year, was it? Can't remember the character or the game. 1/4 scale, roughly 25,000 yen, and it was Ami exclusive as well from a Chinese game. Now, right here we have Kuro Games 1/7 scale Wuthering Waves Changli for just under 21,000 yen, September 2026 release. Nice! It was exactly 1 week ago I told you guys that genuine licensed figures from Wuthering Waves, they are just a matter of time before you guys get to pre-order or purchase one. Oh, finally we have Changli over here. That was quick. I was expecting Apex Toys or Mietos to be the first one to make them, but no, we got Kuro Games. I'm not sure if I want to pre-order this thing early because, you know, in the end, anything made by a Chinese brand, they will be very easy to find on Taobao anyways, so I don't need to make my life so difficult by adding more debt. I consider a pre-order to be a debt because I am not a fan of cancelling pre-orders unless I'm really forced to do so, right? Not a good practice after all. So I'm quite apprehensive of pre-ordering anything too early, but this figure is very tempting. Very tempting, I really want it. After all, we are still looking at a Bishoujo, a pretty girl with a sword, right? I love pretty girls with weapons in general. Moving on to the next Ami exclusive. What have we got over here? Yup, FGO, Aniplex, which means Aniplex Plus Online exclusive, and Ami exclusive. So we have Beach Queen Morgan, Berserker Morgan 1/7 skill, almost 40,000 yen, releasing in August next year. Yeah, August 2026 is rough. So with this figure, it is massive based on what people have told me. I have people in my Discord server where they told me they actually visited Wonder Festival in person. They happened to visit Japan during the One Fest period and they went to the event. They saw this figure's prototype in person and they told me that this figure is huge. It is very big for a 1/7 scale figure. Is it even a 1/6.5, or maybe it is just that object over her head making the figure feel bigger than usual? But it is a big figure, so maybe with all of the parts over here included and 6 ugly metal rods, yeah, 40,000 yen may not sound that bad after all. Will I pre-order it? No. I want it badly, yes, but I don't feel like pre-ordering this thing because of the price, and also, to me, I'm not afraid of Aniplex exclusive. Not afraid at all, because I will always find a way to get it if I want her later on. Not to mention, Alter is planning to make a figure of her, and Good Smile also has a figure of this very same character. I have other choices. I'm not forced to get the one by Aniplex, which is based on the official artwork. And official character artwork means a boring pose, which is the case over here. However, Aniplex, it is a brand that I can vouch for. Their figure quality is mostly excellent, has been the case for the past 5-7 years. I love their FGO figures, I have a few. So if money is no object for you and you want her, yep, pre-order it. However, if you want this figure, I would suggest you to pre-order it on Aniplex Plus Online, not on Ami, because the Aniplex Plus Online exclusive version has an extra bonus faceplate that screams, "Yamete, please be gentle." Yeah, that is the bad news over there. And if Aniplex Plus does not ship to your country, good luck. Pay more for a proxy service, or maybe check out Nin-Nin Game and pay a premium for that. So you can't win anyways, I suppose. Okay, moving on to the next one, Amakuni. Another Nikke figure, though I am fine with skipping this one, or maybe wait until after release and see if I can get a good deal on her. But with Amakuni figures, you know, they turn out very well. They are among the best figure brands in my opinion. Not perfect, they have QC issues from time to time, but when it comes to detailing and paintwork, the way they sculpt their figures and the way they do the shading on the body, they are among the best. And Amakuni is known for body anatomy. If you ask for my opinion, the way they sculpt the abdomen, the body, the lines and the muscles, they are very good at that, right? So this Nikke Mast figure over here, the character design, it is just playing to their strengths. You have her wearing swimsuit with an exposed abdomen and backside that is just begging for them to flex their prowess in sculpting anime figures. So this is going to turn out amazing for sure. I'm quite confident about it. Just that there are other masked figures coming soon from other brands, even a 1/4 scale by what was the name again? Hobby Sakura. So do you think it is a good idea to pre-order this Nikke Mast figure so early on when I know that there are potentially better options coming soon, right? At the same time, I don't think there is any figures of Hosho Marine in a swimsuit, so this may interest you. I mean, this is Hosho Marine, but from Goddess of Victory Nikke. That is the way I see her. Alright, moving on to the next one. Oh yeah, speaking of Amakuni, right? Amakuni stuff, they are not available on HLJ because Amakuni figures are technically Hobby Japan exclusive, and HJ exclusive stuff, you can't find them on certain websites, HLJ included. So I'm not betting on HLJ listing these figures next week or anytime soon. The next one by Amakuni, yep, Chizuru Mizuhara from Rent a Girlfriend, 20,000 yen, releasing in March next year, and you are going to have a big headache choosing between 3 versions. The same exact figure, they just applied 3 different paint jobs on her. And good luck choosing which one you like best. For me, there is an easy winner. I would take the first one over here. I think the color just really pops. It is very vibrant, very striking. I love vibrant colors. But in a close second place would be this one over here. Yeah, lighter colors, but I think Chizuru over here, she looks great in a swimsuit with pink color in general, be it a strong pink or a light pink. She looks good in that in general. Meanwhile, blue color feels like a mismatch to me. At least that is what I feel over here. What is up with Mizuhara Chizuru getting so many figures, right? Why are people loving Rental Girlfriend so much? When you look at the internet and everyone appear to be hating on this series, yeah, no game, no life, no season 2, Rental Girlfriend season 5 next year. Haha. For me, I just love chaos. I love seeing train wrecks unfolding, and I just want to see shit happen, especially in anime. So I'm after the entertainment value of it, which is why I don't hate Rental Girlfriend. I would prefer it over a boring vanilla love story. Yeah, give me all of the NTRs. Now we move on to the next Chizuru Mizuhara figure over here, Maid Bikini Okigaye figure by Hako Iri Musume, 1/6 scale for only 19,000 yen. Yes, that's right. 1/6 scale with a changing room diorama, all of that for 20,000 yen, less than that. Man, Hako Iri Musume has to be the most environmentally friendly figure brand to ever exist, because I have lost count how many times they have recycled the very same figure or the very same diorama set for multiple different figures. And is this like their 3rd and 4th Chizuru figure, or maybe more than that? I'm quite certain this figure came out before. Yeah. There are 2 versions of this figure if I remembered correctly. There is another one costing almost 20,000 yen and additional 1,000 yen, and you are getting Ami exclusive bonus of some kind. Next week, HLJ may list this figure on pre-order. They used to do so for this brand in the past, so this is not an exclusive. Moving up next, we have Mai Sakurajima Jellyfish 1/7 scale by Design Coco. Almost 27,000 yen, not yet on pre-order, coming soon, on sale soon according to Ami, and coming out in August next year. This is rare. I don't see Ami list figures like this often and then not allowing us to hit the pre-order button except for select Kadokawa exclusive stuff, right? Yeah, this is not common. This figure also reminds me of something that, was it Furyu and Phoenix? I can't remember. They did a very similar style of figure to Ram and Ram. I think it was Phoenix, yeah. And Mai Sakurajima, until today, so many years later, I still regard the one made by Spiritiel to be among the best one when it comes to expensive scale figures. Yes, the one in blue Chinese dress sitting on a moon-shaped base, that thing is very expensive now. Aftermarket, 40k and up. This one, I don't really like it, that much. But, hey, depends on you. If you are a big fan of her, you may want to pick this one up. The season 2 of this anime just finished airing and I am stuck at episode 3 because it was boring me out. I don't feel like watching it, but I really wanted to finish it, yeah. Moving on to the next one here. The next 5 figures are 18 plus. The first one here is on the front page of Ami for some reason. Even though she is fully castable and being a lolly character, I couldn't show much on screen, not on YouTube. So we have Athena X Sunburnt Girl Emilia. 18,000 yen only, releasing in April next year. If you love to undress your lollies, go for it. Oh, this is nice. Will I get it? Not really. I have too many things to buy, so I don't really purchase that many cultured anime figures. I only buy like 2 or 3 of them in one whole year. All because of Nikke and many other franchises robbing me dry. Moving on to the next one. This is from their age-restricted section. War Denim original character Sky Parker 1/5 scale by Frog, which is a branch of Native as well. 37,000 yen January release, and this is a 1/5 scale. I have one figure by Frog, just one. What's her name? I can't remember her name. She's right there in her box. Kaede and Suzu. Yeah. The figure was okay. Not perfect, but it was okay. And it is the kind of figure which I can't review on YouTube. Yeah. So, this kind of leg stretching pose, way too overdone. Too many figures with this pose, but it never gets old because it is very attractive. A brand that I can recommend very easily because it is under native. The next one here, this is from a new brand called Body Bay. I've never heard of it before. And this is the DX version of Reika Takagi's Secret Party illustration by Jack Dempa. 1/6 scale, 25k after a discount, June release next year. So this may be a good purchase potentially. The DX version, you're getting extra body parts for you to swap out and to display her Hadaka, both top and bottom. There are cheaper versions that cost 2,000 yen less. 2 other cheaper versions, I'm too lazy to open a new link and censor the pictures all over again. So for figures like this, since the price gap between the cheapest version and the most expensive version is not that big, you go for the DX version obviously. 25k only after all. For those of you who love your meals, obviously, there is some resemblance between her and that Dongtan figure earlier in fact. Moving on to the next one. This is an artwork by Monda apparently, but she almost looks like something drawn by Asanagi to me at the same time. The face, right? Looks very similar. So we have Monda original characters Yuki Nanase Bunny version 1/6 scale by Rocket Boy, 33k. Yes, customable and releasing in March 2026. Rocket Boy does not shy away from pricing almost every single one of the figures at 30,000 yen and up because people buy them anyway. This is a boring bunny girl on the surface, but if you look closer at the details on her bunny outfit, it is way more detailed than you think. Yeah, more tiny design elements if you look closely, so that is something I suppose. And her second faceplate, Ahegao faceplate, big thumbs up from me, I love it. The last figure on Ami for this week would be Yasagure Public Health Doctor illustrated by Keso Shiro, 1/6 scale, 24,000 yen, releasing in December next year, 2026. This is made by Pure, premium Chinese figure brand that makes edgy figures. I can highly recommend their stuff very easily. And this is also a figure where you can display normally and people would not suspect anything. But underneath, you can fully undress her both top and bottom. Yeah, and I do like this one a lot. Everything is just roughly the right size, you know. The melons are not too big, the body shape is good and so on. It is a really good piece of artwork. And our last stop over here for genuine figures, yep, Nin-Nin Game for Be Full Insight stuff. Only 2 figures this week. The first one is Hadaka Queen Riza, which is a re-release at 22k. April release next year. And the next one here, oh, Treatment Duty Succubus Real. Nice. 1/6 scale. Oh, come on. Why? What currency is that? Must be roughly 22,000 yen, I think. And releasing in April as well. Is that Russian? No, right? What is our dollar? Russian is... I'm not sure. Anyways, the price should be in the low 20,000 yens, right? Not too far off the others. And that is all for genuine figures on pre-order this week. Now we'll move on to third-party section, making use of OzGK, which is also this channel's affiliate partner, but for the third-party section. If you go through every page of new pre-orders in this website, there is a mix of both genuine and third-party figures. You can also pre-order any genuine PVC figures in this website, including all of the edgy stuff by Rocket Boy, Native, and so on. It is a good place, a one-stop place to get everything if you wish. The next thing about this website is that there will be at least an additional 20 or 30 figures over here, which I won't be covering because they are genuine PVC figures and I am waiting for Japanese websites to put them on pre-order officially. Otherwise, it is very hard to keep track of what I have already covered and what I haven't covered, right? So I'm trying to make a clear distinction over here, not to confuse myself. they have put many upcoming genuine PVC figures on pre-order earlier than usual, mostly because these figures have pre-ordered opened in China earlier than everyone else. There are some Hobby Sakura Nikke figures, a few other original art figures which you'll see here but not in Ami or HLG or anywhere else. They will come soon but weeks later. One more thing would be, if you are planning to purchase or pre-order literally anything, not just anime figures, and you are interested in buying or pre-ordering from OSGK or HLJ, Hobby Link Japan, please do make use of my links down in the description below to enter these websites, and that is how you support this channel. Sometimes you may see a link appearing on the top right corner of this video. You can also click on that. It works the same way. So now we start off with the chibi section. The first one here, Anya. As usual, there are two Anya figures this week. The first one is by ZH Studio, which is among the best Anya figure brands out there. And here we have Anya cosplaying as Edo Itachi. $114, 4 versions over here, and no release date yet. Of course, the different versions are going to be the hair color, right? Yeah, black hair, and then Akatsuki pink hair version, black hair version. Every week, I feel like saying the same thing. Anya is the poster child for crossovers in the third-party world. Yeah. Speaking of crossovers, the next one is funny. So we have Deep Studio Doro Anya for some reason. Why? It is only $28, releasing in March next year, and the size is less than 10 centimeters. Yeah, very tiny, 8 centimeters. Why? I mean, I suppose that there will be people who will buy this because it is so affordable after all, but why? This is a crossover I never thought I needed. Moving on to the next one, we have one single not life-sized. I thought this was life-sized. If it is not, why does this thing even exist? Value Ability Asuka 1x2.5 scale platinum silicone action figure. Wow, $1,200 including the DLC, and releasing in March. It is bigger than a Dolphy Dream or a BJD. It is smaller than a life-sized artificial waifu, if you get what I mean. So what is the purpose of this thing? I'm not sure, right? She will look out of place when you display her next to anything else that is 1x3 or 1x1. And it is not exactly a famous anime or game character, so I'm not sure what is up with this thing over here. Moving on to the next one. Okay, this is life-size 170cm Dream Silicone doll from Doll Senior Studio. Almost $3,000. November 2025 release, 2 months away. Man, I could buy a very nice camera with that money. And man, nowadays, these artificial waifus, they are becoming very realistic. I can see why people are dating their artificial AI girlfriends nowadays. Imagine that AI girlfriend that you have fallen in love with, just a computer program, just an algorithm. You plant that algorithm into a chip and insert it into a doll like this, except the doll is like some iRobot stuff. So technically, you have a girlfriend who will do anything you say, and that is no longer just a girlfriend, it is also the perfect slave. Isn't it? I mean, think about it. An AI personality that is very human. Imagine the possibilities. Yes, of course, potentially the extinction of the human race. Moving on to the next one here. Now we are entering original character section. The first one here by MT Studio, Furry Mate Series number 1 Morph Girl. So it is not exactly furry, but under their furry series. And you know what? For an original character, this is rather creative, very interesting. Character design is attractive, and it is not exactly a dog or a cat or any furry animal, wolves and so on. It is a moth, an insect. Very interesting. $176, February release next year. This is one of the most original things I've seen in months. Yeah. So I won't be scrolling through the pictures for obvious reasons, but this is not an 18+ figure, just that Her front is almost uncovered, and depending on which angle you look at her from, you might be able to see the important part down there. Yeah. Moving on to the next one here from Juhun Create Studio, we have Dragon Taming Priestess Lumina licensed, and this is an early bird pre-order. We don't have a price or pre-order date yet. Her head looks very small in my opinion. Yeah, maybe it is just the size of her body and illusion, I'm not sure, but her head looks a little bit tiny over there. 1x4 scale and not much else to say from me other than nice. Very detailed, but I have nothing else to comment. Yeah. Original character, artist design. The next one right here, early bird as well, more of a teaser pic. We have 3 Artisan Studio Mystic Lazy Mature series. Number 1, Lamia. Number 2, Baizhe. Number 3, Zhu Que. And number 4, Ling Xiao. So there are 4 figures over here, more pictures to come I suppose. And it is supposedly mature. No price, no release date yet as usual. I wonder if there are more pictures. Yep, there are more pictures over here. All of them are teaser pictures. They do have a very pretty face though. Moving on to the next one right here. Another original character by TGZW Studio, Demon Girl. No price, no release date once again. And a teaser pic. She looks almost Hadaka. And as usual, I'm not too interested in these kind of things. I'm just going through these figures as quickly as possible. Moving up next, we have Stargazer. Okay, this is a brand that I want to discuss with you guys briefly. Here we have Masterpiece Series, Lee San-guo and Xiao Qiao 1x4 scale. No price, no release date yet, 1x4 scale. So I have no idea if this is a resin or PVC. It has to be a resin, I think, because no 1x4 scale. Resin is more common after all. And we do have a full picture over here or just an artwork. Okay, this is a beautiful piece of artwork, but those kind of traditional Chinese style character designs. So speaking of this brand, Stargazer, we have a second one over here, which will be pre-order opening very soon. No price, no release date yet, 1x4 scale. POP series, Trainee Wife Fifi Chan. The difference between this one and the Chinese girl earlier is that this is a PVC figure, not resin. So Stargazer appears to be making both PVC and resin figures. I mean, going by this figure earlier over here, this artwork, I don't think this is PVC at all. It does not look like one to me. But this one is confirmed to be PVC, so I think the prices will be way lower than this. Not $999. In fact, your deposit of $99, should you choose to pre-order early, would cover most of the cost of the figure, I think, or at least half of it. The more interesting part, however, is the next figure right here, where Stargazer has announced a 1x4 scale of Blanc and Noah. That's right, 1x4 scale PVC figures of Blanc and Noah. They did not mention PVC or resin, but I'm more inclined to think it is PVC. This is just an announcement. The figure isn't coming anytime soon. It may be months away, it may be 1 year away, or GK simply jumped the gun and chose to list this thing early, right? So you don't have to pre-order it yet, wait for official pictures and so on. And my opinion on this, well, looks like Blanc and Noah are getting a lot of figures. We have the Alter one, we have more brands coming soon. Those are 1x7 scale obviously. And my prediction is that Hobby Sakura might go for a 1x4 scale. They might, right? There is none yet. They only have the low budget 1x10 scale coming soon for pre-order. But I think in future, Hobby Sakura will be another brand to make a 1x4 scale Blanc and Noah. Freeing as well, obviously. Moving on to the next one here, Starex VA Studio BGS Series Code Q statue. So original character, $550 at 1x4 scale, releasing in September 2026. For some reason, she reminds me of some character from Persona. Yeah, I don't know why. Very pretty character though, and let's have a look at her face over here. Yeah, very pretty face. I wouldn't call this realistic. It is like somewhere in between anime style and realistic style. Very good looking face. I wouldn't call this a realistic face. It is somewhere in between. Yeah, kind of realistic. A bit of anime elements as well. I like it. I think it is the jacket she's holding that is adding so much detail to the figure, but I love pretty women with weapons. You guys already know that. Moving on to the next one here from Sugar Blade Studio, they do their own original characters. So we have Court Ladies Wearing Flowers 1x5 scale, $389, June release next year. Sugar Blade Studio, it feels like they're making figures of historical stuff in general. That is what it feels like to me. And this thing, it is not even an anime or game figure. It is like the kind of statue you see in a store selling Buddha statues of some kind. I don't know, it feels that way to me. Or maybe a gift store in China, right? You go to China for your vacation and then they have gift stores selling all these traditional Chinese style statues. It looks like that to me. Moving on to the next one here, now we enter anime character territory. So the first one, of course, we have One Piece, Nami. This is a 1x4 scale bust figure. What you are seeing in this picture, this is all you get, not a full figure, which is why the price is so low at $134. And even if this is only a bust figure, that is a very low price. Yeah. So this could be a good purchase if you don't mind bust figures, which I'm not a fan of. December release this year. Moving on to the next One Piece figure, we have Shirahoshi by Yowu Studio and Spades K Studio and Longhu Studio. Why do they need 3 companies working together on one single statue? I have no idea. So there are 2 scales over here, big size and small size. Pink color and with DLC $501. There is a smaller version going for $349. Let's have a look at the size. Oh wow, the small one is already big, 40 centimeters. And then the big one here, 57 centimeters. And God, that realistic face, this is terrible. Oh my God. This is probably pretty to some of you, but it looks so wrong on a One Piece character. Aqua, is that you? No, it's not. Looks like Aqua at the same time. I would take the original Shirahoshi. Pink hair anime face. God, the realistic one is terrible. Right, moving on to the next one, we have Boa Hancock by MSN Studio. Is Microsoft making figures now? No, I don't think so. $343 at 1x4 scale, that is with DLC. Without DLC, $296. And what is that DLC? Okay, there is a second head sculpt coming, but they don't have any pictures yet. Because this Boa Hancock over here, it is kind of realistic. Yup. The second one is anime face, right? The one they are showing over here in this picture, this is a realistic face, kind of. So obviously, if I were to get this, I would get the one with anime head, and I would display her with the anime head. Moving up to the next one, we have Light and Dust Studio. Haven't heard from them in a while. Wow, we have Budokai number 1. Android 18 versus Yamato. Dragon Ball versus One Piece. Interesting. $373 for a set. They gave Yamato a realistic face. It is a nice face, but I'm not sure what to think about it. The figure is modular. Actually, 1x6 scale for 2 of these for $350 or so is not bad at all. Yeah, I think I would have preferred anime face over this realistic conversion over here, but I suppose that they are trying to match the realistic face they gave to Android 18. Android 18 is also realistic face. No options for anime ones. Releasing in March 2026. Next figure over here, we have Evangelion stuff. Mari Makinami Illustrious from the Summer Plant Studio. Just a casual outfit, $191. 1x6 scale, releasing in June next year. Well, nothing quite wrong with the figure. The choice of outfit and everything, smoking hot. But, For the hardest core of Evangelion fans, I suppose, I have more important things to buy. Yeah. Moving up next, we have Asuka in school uniform by Spy Studio, $147. No release date yet. This is a 1x6 scale. Detail is kind of low, but we do have heavy shading from the looks of it, so not too bad, I suppose. 28 centimeters, yep, 1x6 scale. Simple figure. So the thing with Asuka, right? Among the third parties, if you miss out on one figure of her, you just wait for the next company, a different company, who will make a very similar figure of her in a similar outfit. Yeah, that is the case with Asuka. However, the next Asuka figure over here is incredible, and this is also a good example on how if you missed out on a previous pre-order, a previous version by a different company, including the genuine ones, then there will be another company who will step up and make more. This time around, we have Phoenix Studio and Esoteric Arts Studio making a figure of Asuka in the cockpit. There was a genuine figure of Asuka and Rei in this exact design from many years ago. I don't remember which company was it. And then a few third-party companies also tried doing the same thing. Good face over there, no complaints. They even gave her her jersey. Yes, so this is a great purchase for sure. As long as you have the space to display it, everything looks good, including the face over there. Moving up to the next one, we have Card Captor Sakura by BBSD Studio, $133 at 1x6 scale, no release date yet. Is this CGI? No, this is actual figure, not CGI. Yup, actual figure. Did she even have a body tight suit like this in anime? I don't think so, right? The face looks good though, and the body, nice. I'm trying to speed things up because this is getting pretty long. After all, we have many figures this week. Pink Soul Studio, Nana Osaki, yup, from the manga Nana. The entire cast over here being made into a single figure for $566. 4 figures at 1x6 scale at this price is not bad at all. But it's releasing in June next year. The third parties are really going for it. There are at least 3 or 4 different options already for Nana. Oh, this is nice. Wow. Can I just buy the girl? I don't care about the guys, you know. But yeah, this is like, you buy once, you have everything. You don't have to buy the figure again, right? So it is a good package for sure. A very good one. Moving on to the next figure, you're looking at the worst figure of the week, be it third party or genuine PVC. I'm not sure whether the B-Full Inside stuff are worse or this is worse, but you will find out soon. This is Your Forger from Spy Family, apparently, coming from Aero Studio, and this is going for a very low price of $253 at 1x4 scale. Releasing in March next year. And there is a very good reason why the price is so low, right? So the realistic face version you're looking on screen is $253. The good news is that you have an anime version if you hate this face. It does not look like Your Forger. But the worst news for the anime version, it is even worse. $235. I don't even know where to begin. Does this look like Your Forger to you at all? It seems like they just looked for the largest possible anime eyes they could find and then they slapped that on her face. This is not 1980s, 1990s anime where every character has giant vertical oval eyes. Oh my god, man. It is like they are not even trying for some reason. $235 at 1x4? I would tell you to buy a freeing 1x4 scale bunny instead. Moving on to the next one here, we have Roxy Migurdia Bunny Girl version from Shadow Studio, $131. There are 2 versions over here, black or white color. No, you don't get to undress her. No Hadaka version over here. This is all you get. But when it comes to fan service figures of Roxy Migurdia, you can't go wrong with the one by Fat Company, the one right behind me on my shelf. We have Roxy Migodia with barely any clothes on, just string bikini. That one is fabulous, especially now when the price is so heavily discounted. You can find one for less than 20,000 yen. Yep, go for it. Moving on to the next one from Newborn Studio, we have Kikoru Shinomiya from Kaiju number 8, $191 at 1/6 scale, March 2026 release. And speaking of Kikoru Shinomiya, I don't want a figure of her in this outfit. I want the new outfit, which is so badass. You know, the number 4 battle suit, white color with the mask and wings. The one from the latest episode of Kaiju number 8. Man, someone please make a figure of her in that outfit, please. That is so badass. That is awesome. This is still a good figure, don't get me wrong. Still a good figure. I think she looks great. But that new outfit simply rocks. Right, moving on to the next one. This is perhaps the best Reze third-party figure I've ever seen. The sculpt on the face, right? And everything else, the body, the folds, the shots everywhere, everything is so perfect. Like, I have nothing else to say other than telling you to get one if you love what you're looking at. This is incredible, coming from Zhaohua Studio. Reze and Bomb Demon Chainsaw Man, $405, very expensive, but it is a 1/5 scale figure, coming out in June next year, and you are getting some extra parts. So the whole thing is 44 centimeters including the base. I think when you look at the base, where there is another character over here, you can see why this thing is so expensive. I think the price is justified, right? Hands down the best Reze figure I've seen. Even the genuine brands, the licensed PVC figure brands, they don't have anything this close. Wow, I'm very impressed. Yep, the Bomb Demon. So, oh, they have Chainsaw Man down here as well on the base. So this is like a 3-in-1 figure for $405, not bad at all. And the scale is big, 1/5. Moving on to the next one, another Chainsaw Man figure with Makima and Reze, but in lingerie by Reborn Studio. A set for $328, which is a good price. Releasing in June 2026. The sculpting on this is magnificent, the body curves and everything, and the face also looks good. Speaking of Reze, I still prefer the one earlier that I just covered, but this is not too bad at all if you want something more fan servicey. The one earlier, I would prefer to get that one if I could only choose one. Yeah. Moving up next, we have an unexpected figure over here. I never thought this would happen. Green Tea Studio Saya Takagi from High School of the Dead. Nice! $233 at 1/6 scale, June 2026 release. And this company has announced that, yeah, the other girl, the one in purple hair, the main character, they will be making a figure of her soon. So it is interesting that they went for Saya Takagi first. And I don't remember this character ever getting any official PVC figures. So this is a welcome addition. And this is exactly what I want to see from third parties, right? Making figures of characters where the genuine brands are not touching at all for obvious reasons, not popular or outdated or stuff like that. But they have a big fan base, and there will be a select number of people, at least a few hundred, if not a few thousand people out there who will want a figure like this. I'm so happy to see this figure. High School of the Dead, I did watch the anime very long ago. It is a very special series, and unfortunately the author passed away. I would love to see a continuation of that anime series and of course the manga. Yeah, which is very unfortunate. Moving on to the next one here with Asuna from SAO, Suck S Online. This is made by Roboko Studio, $333, June 2026 release. This reminds me of a very similar Asuna figure by Aniplex from a few years ago. Yeah, way too messy, too cluttered. I can't say that I like the base over here. Way too much. It looks very good. The face sculpt and everything looks very well done over here. Details are plenty, so many things to look at. But I would love to see a cheaper version of this thing. The same exact figure, but a simpler base without all those unnecessary effect parts. Yeah, it looks terrible over here. The base, right? The figure itself looks really good though. And I'm not sure if I'm looking at an actual figure or a CGI. Oh, this must be an actual figure. I can't really tell anymore. Yeah, the base is way too much. Moving on to the next one here, we had 2 Saber Ultra figures last week. This week, we had Imagination Studio joining in. $448 at 1/6 scale, March release. Somehow these third parties, they just love their massive bases for some reason. Yup, you're getting the other head sculpt as usual. It looks incredible for sure. But Saber Ultra, $448 for Saber Ultra. Excalibur! You're getting a stand for Excalibur as well. Nice. Woo. This is definitely modeled after what we saw in the movie, isn't it? And I think this is based on Heaven's Feel movie 2, not movie 3, where Saber unleashed her Excalibur on Berserker. Yes, I think this is based on movie 2. Wait, hold on a second. No, this is based on movie 3. I just noticed these black color things. Yeah, in the cave, right? Fighting against Rider. Yeah, silly me. Of course, it has to be based on movie 3. The details are incredible though. I kind of want it, but I'm not sure where to put it. I don't have that much space. And I wonder what the dimensions would be. The full height of the figure, including all the way to the top of the statue. 68 centimeters. Damn. Yeah, I don't think I have the space for that on any of my existing shelves. I would need a dedicated display case just for something like this. Moving on to the next one, we are now entering the game character section. So the first one here, Lopami Pokemon from Spirit Demon Studio. They have been doing all this furry stuff, and people are buying them up for some reason. $233, releasing in March. Moving up next from YJ Studio with Mika Misono from Blue Archive, $197 at 1/6 scale, June release. It looks pretty good to me, the face as well. Just that, plain bikini, yeah. But we do have some details with the wings and the base over there. I think Good Smile also has a scale figure of her, if I remembered correctly. Maybe it isn't out yet. Moving up next, we have Miyin Studio Swimsuit Nagisa from Blue Archive. Oh, this is smoking hot. $187 at 1/6 scale, March release, and you do get a second faceplate, or is it just the sunglasses? I'm not sure. Yeah, the thing with sunglasses is that they tend to be really fragile, so they must be made from materials like PVC, I suppose. Body sculpt, fabulous, but swimsuit figures like this lying on a beach base, they are so common nowadays. But Miyin Studio is a great brand that I can vouch for any day. If you like it, can go for it. Moving up to the next one here, we have Mogu Studio Asuna Ichinose from Blue Archive. 1/6 scale, this is an early bird pre-order. We don't have a price yet. I am predicting somewhere between $150 to $200, releasing in March 2026. Asuna is one of those characters where even the bootleg brands can get her face very right. So you don't have to worry about this figure over here in terms of the accuracy or whether the brand will mess up the face. Things like that, you don't have to worry, right? Like, oh, that is nice. Asuna Ichinose is a character where even bootleg figure makers are able to get her face right with very little effort for some reason. So third parties, they are very safe purchases in general. And the reason for it may be because of her eye. One of her eye is hidden, so you don't have to worry about misplaced eye decals and stuff like that. And once you sculpt the shape of her face right, you wouldn't have any problems with a good Asuna figure. That is what I'm guessing over here. This is a good face for Asuna Ichinose. And from this angle over here, yup, she looks amazing as ever. Moving on to the next one, we have, wow. We have Taiho from Azur Lane, Barely Wearing Anything by Domo Studio, $189. March 2026 release. This has to be customable, right? It has to be. I can't even scroll through the pictures on, on YouTube over here without getting into trouble. The funny thing is that if this is not customable, then this is technically not 18 plus figure. Though if you ask 10 people, is this 18 plus or not? And all 10 of them will reply you, yes, it is 18 plus. OSGK did not mark or label this figure as 18 plus somehow. So I'm a bit reluctant to tell you guys this is customable. Even the product pictures underneath, which I won't scroll through on screen over here, there are none of the pictures showing Taiho without the pink color objects covering her opai. Yeah, so I wouldn't keep my hopes high. And the last figure for this week, this long week, would be Ane Studios 1x6 scale Kanban Musume Sweetie Zenless Zone Zero. Her name is Sweetie, is it? So $172, no release date yet. I don't really know anything about this character, so what do you think about her face? Is it accurate or not? So far, many third-party figures from Triple Z, they all looked amazing. So maybe this is accurate, I suppose. And will Apex Toys make a PVC figure of her? It is quite likely as well. You may want to wait for that. $172 is roughly 23,000, 24,000 Japanese yen, right? So there is a possibility where the Apex Toys version will be slightly cheaper, 20,000 yen maybe. And that is all for figures on pre-order this week. Which one will you pre-order? Let me know down in the comments below. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more anime figure content every week. Until then, I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching and goodbye.